To continue, this is video number 4, class number 4, that will give you the explanation how the lesson plan number 7 was developed. These are the activities, the aim, and the topic of the class. Topic of the class, adverbs of manner, how to apply them to give instructions. To use adverbs of manners will be the aim. This time the students will use this type of adverbs to explain the procedure of a recipe. The activities to be developed. Number 1, students will listen to a conversation where the emphasis is placed on adverbs of manner. The teacher must check understanding and prior knowledge by asking questions. Maybe the teacher can stop the podcast, because for this activity there's a podcast that you will make them listen to start an informal conversation among the students and to interact with you as well. So here's the podcast that the teacher will use as a resource.
And today we're going to listen to some people talking about what to wear to a social occasion.
And we'll look at a very important area of vocabulary, the difference between adjectives and adverbs.
Okay, so by using this podcast, you can also mention which is the difference, so students will not get confused, because it's a common mistake made by students, that they don't know how to recognize adjectives from adverbs. They sometimes believe that are the same, so you must focus the attention on that important fact, that they could probably they have a root part that could be the same, but the uses are different. So you can use this podcast to focus attention on that. Let's hear a little bit.
We'll have a quiz to test what we've learnt.
And we'll give you a top tip to help you learn more vocabulary.
So let's get started with a conversation. Mike and Sarah are getting ready to go to a party, but they have very different ideas about what Mike should wear.
While you listen, try to answer this question.
You will hear
what does Mike
adverbs
wear to the
and
party?
adjectives as
Let's
well.
find out.
Okay, let's hear a little bit more.
You're not seriously going
It's a
to the party
conversation
dressed like
between
that.
two people,
You'll be the most
informal
gruffily dressed
conversation.
man there.
The invitation.
Okay, so that will be like to start the class before presenting the topic or before presenting the grammatical structure for this type of element of our language. It could be like an introduction to the topic. Activity number 2. A small box is given to each student with pictures, flashcards, some cutouts, and they are asked first to check to get familiar with the information, with the elements that are there. And once they heard, or once the teacher presented the topic of the class, that are adverbs of manner, they need to start thinking about what to do with those elements. First of all, to write a draft of a recipe using adverbs of manner and trying to include as much adverbs as possible to make the other person, to make the reader or the listening understand the procedure, how to do it, when to do it, and in that way you will see that they will be like forced to use adverbs. Okay, so this could be too as a previous activity, but before the starting they need to know the structure, the meaning, and how to use the modal verbs. So for that, you have here a platform that is called Quizzes. And in this case, we'll give them a presentation, a short presentation. I have here some screenshots. I will show you in a few minutes the interface of the platform, but you have here a very short explanation, which are the most common adverbs, what adverbs could be used to 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 express the adjective angry, and so on. Okay, here you have the platform that I mentioned before with the free information, grammatical instructions, grammatical structure, how to use them, the most common are, and you can make them also participate. You have here charts with the adjective, the rule, the example, and how to turn these adjectives into an adverb according to the activity that they would like to describe. This could be very important for them to know, to check, to analyze, and to keep that in mind before working on their recipe. And finally, you have like a short test. That's why the application is called Quizzes. You can ask them to join to your account to work on that quiz. You can also make them work in groups. It's not a it is a formative assessment, but it's not going to be graded. So let them know to make them feel comfortable to have mistakes and to check, because right now it's important to give them enough information to the next activity that will be writing and creating a draft for a recipe. Yeah, next activity is it's a icebreaker activity. That is, it's done with some flashcards that are given to students. Each flashcard has at the back an adverb written at the back, so students now must perform that adverb. It's going to be good for them to relax, to feel them comfortable before the pressure of writing a recipe. Students will predict, of course, the actions, and they will elicit their guesses. Now, to give more information or to provide students with more information, a very short video is shown to students with some tips and instructional approach of how to write a recipe or how to detail to give instructions, because that is a type of text that the recipe is. It's an instructional text. So a short video with those tips is going to be presented. And finally, they are asked to use all those elements, the elements that are in the box, using the flashcards with the adverbs, the pictures maybe with food or with ingredients, and what else do they have in the box? I forgot. Yes, they have cutouts, pictures, and the flashcards. So they will like mix those ingredients to prepare the the recipe, and make sure or advise them to use adverbs like carefully, slowly, gently, because those are related with a recipe, how to prepare something. It could be a cake, it could be a cupcake. In that way, of course, that you need to give them a lot of time. It's not an easy task, so they will have time maybe to write, to structure a draft with a very short explanation, maybe with 4 or 5 steps, and each step could contain one adverb. After that, the next thing that the teacher will do is to invite some students, volunteer students can come to share the recipe with the group, and the classmates, the rest of the class, they must be listening, and checking if adverbs had been used. Probably they will need 15 minutes to write and then 5 minutes maybe to check and share. So that will be the activity basically. What is this class about?